Right, I'm recording.
You're recording now, yeah?
Yeah.
So we have... No. What have we done? So we've just got some of our bits and pieces, some supplies for our first winter camp.
Don't forget a toothbrush, ain't polite to have bad breath in Canada. Say goodbye to your mom, farewell to our friends, maybe we'll make enough.
Do you see what's on the walls over there?
No.
Starting to look like Christmas.
Here we go, you and me, we are free to be together in a life we picked.
We are now heading towards the north coast. We went on the park for night, looked up a wee spot that we think should be good. If not, there's plenty on the north coast, so we can go on to the next one. And hopefully we can get a wee spot, hopefully before it goes pitch black, although not looking likely at this point.
The winter nights are early in now, aren't they?
I'm hoping we don't get to experience the cold of the winter night, although we do have all our insulation done now and our diesel heater. It is winter, so the early nights are coming in quickly. So we're just going to find a park up, see what we can find, see what we can see, make dinner, and then see what happens tomorrow. So I think Rosie likes this bed, but she's got no chance, haven't you, Nat? For getting our bed? That or she just smells all her food that's sitting up there at the moment. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? So we've just arrived at Dunluce Castle, which is our camping spot for tonight. Unfortunately it is pitch black, so we've arrived here later than we hoped. So we'll have to show you everything in the morning. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get wee Rosie fed, I think she's starving, and then we're going to get set up and get us fed as well. Oh, look at you. Oh, she knows she's hungry. Knife. Oh, here we go. Is that a knife? Yep. It's very sharp actually.
Could have just used that to open the dog food.
Good point, actually, yes. Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
So I think the first thing that we're going to do is cook our soup that we bought in Lidl's, and we're going to use our camping stove that we just bought for it.
And we're setting this up, we'll have to set it up as the old sort of layout we were thinking. Because we don't have the space at the minute. Do it the other way. Food. So we want this as out of the way as possible, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Does that give you enough space to cook? There you go. So now we have the grill on, we want to bring in a bit of ventilation to the van, so we're just going to open the skylight. God.
Bit rough.
It's just really stiff, yeah. I should maybe try and like oil them hinges or something. We do also have the extractor fan too if we need any more insulation, and then the reason why we've put it beside the side doors so we can crack the side door as well if we need to. So we're going to have soup for dinner?
Yeah.
Where are the bowls? We haven't brought bowls. Do we bring spoons?
No.
We'll
Just
just
bring
not bring spoons?
No. We have cups though. Oh, you get your cups.
They're metal cups, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll keep the heat in. It's like a cup of soup.
So we'll Well, my other suggestion was just to drink it out of the pot, because we've got 2 pots.
So what's the moral of the story here?
Actually build your camper van properly first, kit it out, and then take a trip. Good like winter sort of thing.
So we woke up this morning and found out during the night that our battery went dead.
So unfortunately, I got rudely awakened by the emergency battery disconnect in the van. So the van has a system in place that detects when the batteries go too low. They disconnect everything to stop them draining too much. So I had to jump up, and the reason why it happened was I tried to run the diesel heater this morning because it was so cold. And then as soon as I turned the diesel heater on, the battery just went, nope, too much. I went, so the batteries I thought were going to be savable, going to be usable at least until we were able to upgrade down the line. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case. So what I'm hoping is that the van will charge the batteries as we drive along. I'm hoping by the time we get to our next destination, there'll be enough charge in the batteries to see us through the night. If not, we might have to try and think of alternative arrangements.
So at the start of this video, you would have seen me filming some bits with like our soup last night with the new camera that we plan to use on this trip to really upgrade the quality of the vlogs. But unfortunately, because the battery in the fan has got out, we can't use that camera because it needs to be charged by mains. We tried charging it via the USB-C, and apparently that's only to connect it for the computer. So we're going back to our action cam, but I just wanted to show you guys where we parked up. So we parked up at Dunluce Castle, which you can probably see behind me. With these amazing views. And it is just off the side of a road, but showing the reality of the park ups. Sometimes it is just going to be like that. There's another motorhome here behind me that someone's rented. But these views and this walk, it's been nice to get out and see things like this and walk to locations like this in the morning and get up and actually go for like a crisp winter walk. I've got my coat on, I've got my hat on. And yeah, so I think what we're going to do next is head towards Donegal direction that we really like. We've been there in a couple of videos before, and so far I think that's the plan. It may change, but we're going to get on the road and see what's what. So because it was such a cold morning, we also came prepared for little Rosie because we seen her shivering and we brought her a little jumper to her.
So I'm looking on Park for night to see if we can find anywhere with electric hookup so we can plug in for the night just in case. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also having my breakfast. So what I'm actually having for breakfast, although this is not sponsored, is a Y-food. I actually really like them. They've really been helping me with the weight loss journey, and then also whenever I was really sick, they were the only things I could really take to get anything into me of any nutritional value because I'd completely lost my appetite. So sort of without them, I probably would have lost even more weight than I did whenever I was sick, or would have got sicker again. So they actually really helped me, and they're the only things I like. A meal replacement drink I actually really like because I've tried other brands and stuff and just didn't like them at all, but the Y-food one I really like.
I also have my breakfast too, which you would have seen us buy yesterday in Lidl's, and it's an all butter croissant because there's no diet here. So we're on the road again, and I think you guys are going to like where we're headed. It's the start of the Wild Atlantic Way.
So I don't think I've ever been through here before.
No, I can't say I've ever come across it. So what type of things can you do while you're in Muff?
Well, you can go to the Muff Barbers.
And if we wanted to get something to eat, could we go anywhere else?
Yes, you could go to the Fishy Muff.
Is there a diving club? Well, how did you sleep last night?
Terribly. Absolutely terribly. Because somebody just would not go to bed. She wanted up into our bed, she wanted down into her own bed, she wanted out for the toilet. I think she detected an animal outside because she started gardening. So I was on full-on child mating duties last night. So I didn't sleep much at all.
So what's your experience been so far?
Well, so far I'm enjoying getting out in the van and being able to use it, but it's definitely more challenging than I thought. The electrics going out wasn't great. I was hoping them batteries would have had a bit more life in them than what they do have, so they're definitely going to need replaced, especially if we want to keep camping over the winter. But I suppose it lets us see what is working, what's not working, what do we need to change, maybe change some priorities. So the battery, as I say, if we want to use a van, the batteries will have to be next because they'll take a fair chunk of budget. Or do we not use it over the winter anymore and maybe just continue on with the build? But again, I think getting out and using it and seeing, like we do a wee bit every time, use it and then see what works and see what doesn't work. What do we want to change before we really spend too much money and make too many mistakes? I think that's the best way sort of to learn, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better learning curves we've had because it figures out, even with the layout, like thinking, should we change this, should we change that? It's constantly involved, and it's keeping us on our toes, to say the least.
Do you know what we need to do? One of us needs to sit in the back of the van and figure out where that squeak's coming from, because that's doing my head in. So on our way to the beach to give Rosie a wee run around, we've just stopped off to see if we can get ourselves something nice to eat.
So another good thing about being on the road full time, around Ireland they have these micro laundrettes. It's always good for whenever you're on the road to get your clothes washed. Now, we don't usually get political on this channel, but something's come to my attention and I think we had to address it. Never has the North and the Republic of Ireland been more divided than this. This is Tayto bait. So the reason this is controversial is that a lot of people say the Tayto that you get in the Republic of Ireland is better than the Tayto that they get in the North. So we're going to put it to the test today. So you just seen us at the shop and I picked up these and we're going to compare them to these that we've brought along on the trip. First things first, we're going to look at the size of the packages compared to each other. These ones were €2.50 and these ones were £1.25. As you can see, the Northern Irish Tayto are half the size and half the price. Looking at the back of the packets, these ones were made in Kilbrew in County Meath, and these ones were made in Tandragee in County Armagh. So Stephen, as a Tayto connoisseur, what do you think is the better version of Tayto?
Well, I stand by the southern version of the Tayto because it's the original Tayto and it definitely tastes better.
We have to also stress that Mr. Tayto is a cultural Irish icon. People have literally made theme parks over this little bastard. In my opinion, he's more famous to Ireland than St. Patrick is.
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to mix up the Tayto crisp. So Tony's going to close his eyes and I'm going to give Tony a crisp and he's going to eat it and he's going to say which one he thinks it is. So it'll be number 1 for the UK or number 2 for the southern ones. Before you close your eyes and have a go, I'm just going to give them the taste test.
Of course you are.
So this is the southern one.
They smell amazing. They smell so good.
Yep. Tastes like good Irish Tayto. And this is the UK one.
Or the Northern Irish one.
Or Northern Irish one, sorry. Alright. I do think there's a difference. Number 1. Ew. Now number 2.
The first one tastes a bit more like Walker's cheese and onion, which makes me think that the second one with the more flavour is the Irish one.
Oh dear.
Is that wrong?
The first one I give you was the southern one.
Try with my eyes open now. So.
Could be because it's a bigger crisp.
Yeah, no. Second try. These ones have a better quality of potato or something. The Northern Irish ones are browner around the edges. And the southern ones or the Republic ones are thinner.
I shouldn't be eating these really.
And I'm sorry Ashley if you're watching, but it is for the sake of
It's for science.
It's a cultural. So we've come to a place called Ballyliffin and this was going to be our park up for the night, but because of our battery issue we're going to just stop here, let Rosie out for a walk and then head on to our next location. This is our obligatory signpost reading about the area. So, its grassy top gives rise to the Irish name green garment or cloak. Until the early 19th century it was called Seal Island, although the name may have changed. Atlantic Steel still bask here. I don't think we're going to see many seals today, but we'll see, you never know. I think what you really notice whenever you're doing these Irish beaches, there's no two beaches that look the same. Every beach has its own sort of feeling and vibe about it, and different rock formations. I feel like we're standing in a volcano or something right now.
It's different, like, isn't it?
It's like
different
different
rock piles and stuff.
Different planet.
Just need to watch the tide doesn't come in.
Touring around with Rosie in space. Just be careful going through here. It's so narrow.
It's not when you get through here. Oh, Rosie, didn't realise that was caught around you. Come here.
I could easily see this being like a film location or something. It's very sort of ancient looking.
I think we'll let her off to explore. No other dogs around here, so there's not.
Yeah, we can let her off.
Rosie, want a bit of freedom? Rosie, come here. Come here. Sit. Good girl. No, sit. Good girl. Okay, go.
So many new sniffs and smells for Rosie. She just wants to explore everything and hopefully not eat everything that she sees. She really is quite a mouthy dog. And I mean that in the sense that she
gives us a lot of grief.
Gives us a lot of grief. So
Very cheeky, so she is.
She's quite vocal when she wants to be. And also she learns by putting everything in her mouth, which is not great for us because we're constantly chasing her. At the minute she's chasing birds over there. I think she's having a good time palling about that though. Nope, there's the seamies.
Nope.
Nope. She's just having fun.
God, I can't believe she got in there. Thank God. Rosie, come on now. Rosie, come on. How many times have we taken her to the beach? Like, she's never once got in the water. Did you enjoy your swim? Now you're going to be freezing.
And then she's just got groomed as well, so there's literally no fur on her. She wouldn't do it in the summer. Doesn't get in the water in the summer.
No.
Come winter, straight in.
Worst part is she doesn't know how to swim yet.
From watching her there, I'd say that
She's
she
soon
knows
picking
how
up.
to swim. I don't think she'll sink.
I can't believe she done that. Like, I really can't believe she done that. Just straight into the water.
I'm glad she wasn't scared though, because she's so unsure about the water.
I know, because me and you looked at her and she was going over and it's like, oh, there's the water, she'll not go near her. Because she did, she came away and then she just dived into it.
I think having these sort of experiences and seeing these sort of places, it's definitely humbling, very humbling. Nature is amazing. Some of the formations that we've seen from just pursuing, even with the caravan and now with the van, we never would have seen half of this without getting into the van life lifestyle.
No, we wouldn't have seen it. We wouldn't have seen even a quarter of it, I would say.
And it really, I know I've said it in so many different videos that we've had in the past, it really, really makes me appreciate Ireland. Because whenever you're from this country, for me, it's easy to be very cynical because the weather's not great and, you know, it's not an advanced country by any means. It's not very modern or with modern sensibilities, but whenever you see the nature side of it,
The natural beauty and stuff.
you really do appreciate that you are from a country that does have these sort of landmarks or aren't touched. And are just thousands of years old, maybe even more, and still there for everyone to see and love.
So because Rosie decided to have a swim in the sea in winter, we're going to have to try and dry her off here. And we also have the diesel heater on max to keep her warm. What does she like? Does she dry off a wee bit in the wind?
Yeah, she's not actually that wet. She's only slightly damp.
So unfortunately the battery situation is actually getting worse. We were hoping that the batteries maybe would have got a bit of charge, enough for us to stay here the night, because it's actually quite a nice wee spot. But the batteries just aren't charging at all, and there's no sun for them to get any charge to the solar panels. So we have to find somewhere with electric hookup. Otherwise we're going to have no lights, no heat, no anything. So at that point it might be a case of going home. So we're going to try, I found a site that has a electric hookup, and it's a suggested donation. Apparently it has water and waste disposal as well, so it would actually be quite a good wee pitch if we could get it. It's not a campsite, it's just like a place that it's like a tourist information thing is set up. So we're going to try there and see what happens, but fingers crossed we can actually we could get hooked up.
So we finally reached our park up spot, which was in Inishowen in Buncrana, and unfortunately all of the spots with electric are full, so now we don't really know what we're doing, and we're going to have to come up with a different plan. It's either that or we might actually have to end things early and head home. So we've been checking the park for night for any other options. Really didn't think it would be as busy this time of year.
So the only place I can see is Portrush, so we could try that. It's quite a bit out of our way, but I don't see any other alternatives. So I'm thinking we'd try Portrush and see if we can get a spot with electric. If not, we're just going to have to head home, unfortunately, because of the battery issue.
I think the thing with Portrush is, as well, we were in that area yesterday, so we were in the Antrim coast, so we're sort of heading back on ourselves, having to come this way and then drive back, which is fantastic, but I think we can salvage it.
Save me from the southern winter's hold. But leave me your
So this was our last spot that we got to in Port Rush, and unfortunately there's no more spaces with electric and our batteries aren't holding,
redemption
so
in the face of everyone. I caught your soul.
So as you will have seen, we unfortunately couldn't get parked up in Port Rush. Well, parked up with electric. There were still plenty of spaces to park the van, but because of our issue with the batteries, we couldn't get anywhere to plug in. So we've cut the trip a bit short, which is a bit of a bad thing, but we've learned an awful lot from it. So one of the things we've learned is unfortunately we are not getting enough juice to the batteries, and with the batteries being the age that they are, we were warned of this anyway when we did get the van. I think the batteries are done. If we had had a bit more sun, we might have got a wee bit more life out of them. But with it being the time of year, we're not getting any sun, so we're not. It's just grey all the time. So we've got no juice coming into the batteries. So what's the positive spin on a wee bit of a negative event? And the positive spin is we now know what we need to focus on in the next stages of the van build for off-grid living. So the priorities have shifted slightly, and we are going to continue with that over the winter. So make sure that you hit subscribe and follow us along on this van build journey.